Actually, a little bit of information. That's my voice in the record when it goes mosh it. You missed it, it just happened. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's one part in the record where it goes into it sounds like it's the only time you hear another voice. You'll hear it.
There it is, there it is.
Fun fact.
That's an exclusive right there.
Fun fucking fact.
All right, wanted to start it off by saying welcome to Toronto.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna start off with like how you grew up a little bit, you know, grew up here between Guyana and East New York and Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So how did that upbringing have an impact on your musical career?
I mean, in Guyana, I'm listening to dancehall and soca, calypso. And in East New York, I'm listening to rap. I didn't even know any other form of music. I didn't know R&B. I wasn't trying to listen to nobody singing. Rock music was some scarce idea. So you could understand with my two bridges that fuse whatever I am. You hear dancehall and you hear rap, and then you hear whatever else I've added on top of that, or I've learned in between it.
Absolutely. So with the rock thing, how was it like meeting up with Lenny Kravitz, you know, because like with your music, you were able to meet a bunch of different people, and it wasn't just one path with hip hop or R&B or anything like that. What did you learn meeting with different individuals that you contribute towards the music that you have right now?
To be honest with you, meeting some of my heroes hasn't revealed anything to me other than I'm where I'm supposed to be. It didn't give me anything specific, as in, yo, you met me, here's a coin, a token of information that you get once you pass this level. It's not quite like a video game in that way, where you get to meet the boss of that floor,
yeah.
and then you beat the floor and then you go to another floor. It's not that. There's just confirmation that I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. And when I have healthy conversations with some of my heroes, it's more like, that shirt is cool. That song is fire. And I know because there's not that much, there's no excessive advice to offer me, because I got to wherever I'm at in my life, I got there by working with my own hands, my own feet, my own brain.
Because you're still the same person as before.
Same human being.
Absolutely.
Relative, because you got to change a little bit. Growth is important, and growth requires a little bit of a change or an escalation in character. So I've had those types of things happen over time. But meeting people like Lenny is just confirmation for me, or reaffirmation that I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
No, I like that. So everybody has like a different perception of how they take in music. The way I listen to it may be completely different by the way you want it to be heard by somebody else. When people listen to your music, what do you want them to experience?
I don't know. I never think about what I want people to experience. I don't set my music up in that way. I'm just honest and cathartic about whatever I'm experiencing, and I'm not afraid of letting you see my pain or hearing it. Because I figure if I'm vulnerable, then that kind of makes me much stronger than I thought I was. And if you relate to it because you identify with my stories, you identify with my sentiment, or you identify with my tone or my humanity, then you found a friend or you found a kin in me.
Absolutely.
But I'm not setting it out with any specific intention. Because if I am, then I'm manipulating the process, and I'm not trying to. I just want to be great, and I hope you love it too.
So when you make the music, because it's really hard to express life stories through anything, right? Put it onto a record, have the whole world be open to it. Do you feel that there's a certain level where you're allowed to express, or is it that whatever goes on the track is just in the moment and it's on from there?
I think it's up to the artist. I don't think it's difficult expressing your life in track or in film or in script. I think if you're an artist and you find a way to paint, whatever your canvas, whatever your medium is. For instance, on my tour, I told everybody that they can no longer shoot on DSLR cameras, so professional cameras.
Yeah.
Because I want my story told through the audience's eyes.
Yeah.
I want it told through the people who were there for the right reasons, not the people who were there to capture the content, the people who were there to experience it.
Absolutely.
So I think, I say that to say, I don't even want to use anybody as a reference. I was going to use a name. A photographer at the highest level, a professional photographer, is going to tell you he needs whatever, what's the name of, like he'll need a Lycra, he'll need...
For the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll tell you all the fanciest lenses, all the things that afford you the greatest possibilities. And then there'll be some 12-year-old kid on his iPhone.
Takes a fantastic
He's like,
picture.
fuck you, I just think this is great and I can see it from my eyes.
Living the experience kind of thing.
That kid is what the future looks like.
Absolutely.
I'm there, I'm with him. I'm with her. I think it could look just like that.
No, for sure.
I think there's no excuses or limitations to your art. Only the things you're presented with and the outcome that you design. So I think that answers your question.
That's a good one, yeah. So back in like 2016, you had your first, in Toronto, first show, I believe, with Post Malone, where you're opening up at a college called, forget the name of the college, but...
I remember that though.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So what was that like? Because I know in one of the interviews you said it's like really kind of, it was nerve-wracking because, you know, when you're first performing, you don't know what to expect. You don't know how to like take over the stage. So what was that like in that first moment when you were on that stage performing?
I don't remember whether that was the exact first time that me and Post had been on a stage together.
Was it in Toronto though?
Was it? I remember the school. I know you're talking about. It was in Canada for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that was the first time. But those were the first times.
Yeah.
Let's just group it together so it's like a time period.
Absolutely.
But I remember being really nervous because I hadn't been on a stage in a while and I didn't know what people were gonna expect from me and it wasn't my show. It's one thing when you put my name on the lights and my name on the posters and you tell them what they're coming for and they have an expectation.
Yeah.
This was Post's show. I was just a supporting act. I was just there to hopefully borrow enough moments from him that enough people would remember me so when I came back, we'd be familiar.
Absolutely.
So I was nervous because I knew I had a 30-minute slot, but I really only had 3 seconds to prove myself.
Yeah. So go down a couple of years, like this year you did like some really big shows, you know, like thousands and thousands of people to the point where you look in the crowd and you can't even see a face in the distance. What is it like now that you've reached that level, that you've known you've accomplished so much and that you started at that certain point, but now you're here and you're able to do any kind of show you want? What is that feeling like of growth?
Well, nobody starts at the top, so it just feels like a step-by-step process. And whatever growth you see, it's not the growth I see. All I see are the steps left to where I'm trying to go. You might notice the steps I've taken to get where I'm at. I don't count those. I'm already in my shoes. I'm still in the shoes I've been in the whole time, even when the pair changes. I'm just looking at how many steps I got to take to get to there, the top of whatever that is. And that's for me, that it's my own design. So whatever I think the top is.
Yeah.
But I'm counting that. I'm looking forward, not back. So I can't tell you what it feels like to be here. I can tell you what it feels like to not be there though. I want it. I want it bad. Where I'm going next, I want it with desperation and desire. And not enough desperation to make me do something frantic or undesirable. The type of desperation that makes you think harder, that makes you think smarter, that makes you perform better, that makes you count your steps, that makes you watch your words and exercise your thoughts. I'm talking about that.
That's what's up. That was a good answer. So I want to talk about like working with Biggs Burke, because he's a legend in hip hop and everything he's done. So what was it like knowing once you had the support? Because I know also on your Breakfast Club interview, he said that you were the biggest thing since Kanye West in his eyes. So
yeah, I thought he was crazy when he said that, but it's
yeah.
I like how it sounds though.
Yeah. But that's a big thing. So like, what was it knowing that once you were on that come up stage and then you hit that point of like, you're here to stay? What was it like knowing that you had him in your corner supporting your career? And what was something that you've learned since working with him?
The very first thing when me and Biggs met, I was excited that I found a brother that I was looking for. It felt like a long lost brother that I didn't have access to most of my life, but I got the information because I grew up watching Rockefeller. So all the information that he gave out to the culture, I received it. But I just didn't know I was getting it from him. So when I met him, it just felt like I found a family member that I didn't have access to before.
Yeah.
That enough for me is like full circle completion. To watch the thing that I was growing up inspired by, not knowing where I was getting the inspiration from, and then become family with the source of the inspiration without knowing, that's serendipitous. You can't plan that.
Yeah.
So when I met Biggs, I just thought he was a cool guy. I knew his history, but I knew his history because I knew the history of the brand he'd helped create, but I didn't know specifically what he was directly attributed cause and effect. I didn't know exactly what he did specifically for The Rock. It didn't matter. So as we became friends and family, and I got more details, I didn't know my inspirations were coming from him. That's the best possible way it could happen. That's some version of fate, and I certainly believe in fate. Absolutely. But I believe you also get a chance to police your own destiny, and I'm sure I turned the car a couple times.
Yeah. So if you were to go back in time and, you know, knowing what you know now, at the beginning of your career as a new artist, what advice would you give yourself to kind of help you go on the path that you know now?
I'll give myself the same advice I took. The same things I told myself when I was looking in the mirror. I just told myself to keep going. You don't know how it ends. You don't know how it starts. You can't tell, right? Yeah. But if you keep going, you know you can affect change. You can make an impact. If you stop, you quit. If you stop, you fail. If you keep going, you have a shot. I wanted to give myself a shot. Every chance I got, I wanted a shot. So even when I failed, I took another shot. And I got creative enough to create an opportunity or create a shot that wasn't there.
Yeah. Do you believe there's an... Oh, go ahead.
I'm athletic in the way my mind works. You see a missed shot, I see an opportunity for a rebound. You see an out of bounds turnover, I see an opportunity for a timeout and a reset. I'm just trying to make sure I pivot enough that when the world turns, I'm somewhere closer to the sun than I am to the darker part. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I take those chances.
Do you think there's such thing as luck, or do you think it's more so?
Yeah, I think luck exists.
Yeah.
I think luck and fortune walk hand in hand, but I think you can create opportunity for yourself by being on time.
Yeah.
Being on time means being aware, being sensitive enough to realize this ain't the right room to say that. This ain't the right event to wear that. I don't have to do that right now. Understanding your own timing is probably why Steph Curry is so fucking good at his shot.
Pull up from anywhere.
He gets his timing.
Yeah.
His timing has a rhythm. He understands his footwork and how his hand releases.
Yeah.
That's his timing. He knows his body. He studied his own art form. When you study your own art form, maybe it's his vocal, maybe it's his stitching, sewing, maybe it's hair, maybe it's nails. When you get your timing, it'll start feeling like you're lucky as fuck.
And that everything was worth everything.
It'll be in sync.
Yeah.
You ever have a month, a week, a year where everything seems to be going right?
Yeah.
You on time.
Absolutely. That's a big thing too, you know, putting your footwork in, because nothing can really happen until you've done that work before that. And people think that some kind of opportunity is just gonna land right in your lap.
It doesn't happen.
Not at all.
Luck happens to the luckiest of us. What about the rest of us that still want to win?
Yeah.
You think the only way to win is luck? Can't be true.
Not at all, because there's a million people trying to do the same thing, right?
I'm a living example of the 1,000 times I didn't get lucky. The 10,000 times that I missed, that wasn't luck. Luck is if you got air and breath to get up and do it again, so I guess I'm lucky.
Absolutely.
Everybody living has an opportunity. You're a little bit more lucky than the people that ain't here no more. But you don't win because you're lucky. Success and consistency does not come from luck. That would mean Michael Jordan was really lucky.
Yeah.
And
even Kobe Bryant, man, like after the game, he'd go up and put like thousands of shots, right?
Yeah.
The job wasn't finished until he knew that there's always room to grow and there's always opportunity to get better.
There's more work to be done.
The best at what you've done. Yeah.
He was a slave to his own growth.
Yeah.
I think in some ways the best of us are slaves to our own growth.
Yeah, because the biggest thing really is once you've hit a certain accomplishment, you want to reach the next accomplishment. And if you're gonna stop working, then you're gonna slow down and somebody else is gonna pass you, right?
There's a truth to that, but that's a warped way of thinking. Because if you're only chasing stats and goals and things off of a checklist, then you're not living.
Not so much for accolades, but knowing that you have something else to prove, you know? Because if, say for example, you win one championship in the NBA, you're not gonna stop at one, right? You're gonna want to win every single year.
You want more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and if you stop working, then that next championship might never happen. So,
going to the prom once isn't that exciting, because chances are the 900 of the 1,000 people in the room that go to the prom for the first time don't quite do it the way they wanted to.
Yeah.
They don't wear the outfit they really wanted, and by the time the photographs come out, they realize they could have done it better. So when you go to the prom, you want to go to the prom a couple times.
Absolutely.
Until you perfect it. So that's the metaphor of you actually winning a ring. You want to go back. You want to set more goals and do it better.
100%.
And do it with more tenacity or whatever it is on the list for you.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I get you.
Yeah. So what is one advantage you think? Because you started off doing some big credits as a songwriter. You know, you Beyonce. I think the first one was with Usher. And
yep. The first one was Kaiser.
Okay.
We was just listening to her. We were listening to her record, Hideaway.
Yeah, that was the one.
The first real type of credit that I ever had writing a record was on her records. Mm-hmm. So my friend at the time, Rami, he was her producer and he wrote for her too. So we were part of the same team. Mm-hmm. So I started writing for her, and then that led to Usher.
Yeah, that was a big one. So what advantage do you think? Because that's a different path to, like, you know, where you have the advantage over the other person because you know the different areas of creating a song. You know, the songwriting is one path, making the song is something else. What advantage do you think you have as like a strong songwriter first before the music, as a solo artist before that? What do you think that is?
What advantages do I think?
Yeah, as opposed to like somebody who just writes normally.
I mean, it's tremendous. It's like being a coach and then being a player. If you're a coach and you're an honest player, you got to have the type of integrity that allows you to face yourself.
Yeah.
If you were a good coach and you're an honest player that can look in the mirror, then you can borrow from both of those sides. I understood the steps that I needed to execute in order to get better, or to improve. I understood my art form. Working as a songwriter means I was studying my art form before I was creating.
Yeah.
So that gives you a tremendous example. That gives you a tremendous heads up.
Yeah.
Imagine studying cameras and how they work before you become a DP.
You're able to construct it a lot better. Yeah.
Imagine studying film, understanding how lenses work, and then falling in love with film. So you don't just have an appreciation, you have a tactical approach. Everything in life requires some sort of tact if you want to do it over and over and over and over with consistency.
Absolutely.
So me being a songwriter means tactfully, I got it.
100%. So if you were to listen to one album for like the rest of your life, and it was the last one that would ever exist, which one would you go with?
Either Reasonable Doubt or a DMX album.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with two. With Reasonable Doubt, which track was your favorite?
I can't do that.
All right, then do you think that one is like the best debut in hip-hop history?
No.
No?
It's not, only because you can't characterize what would be the best debut in hip-hop history.
That's the thing too, because
I
always like to ask, because it's like everybody has their own opinion, right? You can't say this is the best, like the player, like it might be stats, but it's like everybody has an opinion. If you say this is the best album, somebody's gonna say you're wrong.
And it's art, so it's so subjective, so it's not even possible. Yo, 50 Cent's debut in hip-hop is unprecedented.
Yeah.
His impact was crazy.
Absolutely. First
the music
numbers,
was exceptional.
Yeah.
And somebody might say, that wasn't it. Reasonable Doubt didn't sell well when it first came out.
It was low numbers actually first week, yeah. So but the impact is long lasting.
Long lasting. The long tail of that is crazy.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of, you can't really compare those types of arts. You can if you just want to do it for the sake of debate. I don't want it just for the sake of debate.
No, for sure. The biggest thing with Reasonable Doubt, I always say, is that you can't judge an album based on first week numbers. You know, it's like saying you can't judge a book by a cover, because if you say that album's way below the other ones because of the number, then you haven't listened to the album properly to judge what it is, right?
That's like judging a painting by its sale price.
Exactly.
That's not how taste is curated.
Yeah.
Taste doesn't require numbers.
That's true. So going forward, what are your goals for the next couple of years, and where do you see yourself in, say, 5-10 years down the road?
Well, I got here on a 5-year plan. I spent a half a decade working on a blueprint. Every couple of years, you have to redream. You have to redraft your plan.
Yeah.
So as you're getting closer to executing something you set your sights on, when you're about 12 months out, you have to change the plan, meaning you have to revisit it. you're approaching the end of the plan, so you got to update it. I'm right at that point.
Yeah.
So the parts of the plan that I'm looking to update are things that I didn't even have any consideration for before. I never was inspired by money or motivated by money.
Yeah.
But now I'm really clear on the types of things that money and financial freedom can do for you and do for your imagination.
Yeah.
Do for your family, do for your environment, do for your community, do for your well-being. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it was possible to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I wanted to make $1 billion until I realized that there was a lot more things that I wanted to do with my time on this planet than just trick off and have a great time.
Yeah.
And I could affect more people's lives if I had more resources.
Absolutely.
So you asked me about my 10-year plan?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm gonna get to $1 billion.
That's major.
And then I'm gonna do a lot of really great things with that.
Yeah. That's like off topic, but it goes back to the thing with the basketball thing. It's like once you hit that championship, whatever it is, it's like, but this, it's like once you hit that first paycheck, second paycheck, you see more opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think is that the time we have, or we could do more?
We definitely run a long time. Trapper, where we at on time?
Yeah. All right then. Appreciate your time.
For sure.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, you know?
Pleasure's all mine.
God bless.
Thank you, guys.
You're the man, bro.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.